Booker Corrigan here, joined by Katie Sampson here at the Katie Sampson Festival. Katie, 15th year. How special is this event to you?
It's, Christmas, Easter, everything combined for our family, for the lacrosse community here in southeastern Pennsylvania. I think for people in the spinal cord injury community that have really kind of looked to our foundation for support. So just across the board, an amazing celebration. I always get super emotional on this day because it's just a lot. Yeah.
And one of the girls I just interviewed defined it as Christmas for a lacrosse player. So it's fantastic to hear you say that as well. Now, on George Corrigan Field, you just gave away the Jimmy medal. Talk about the meaning of that.
Yeah, Jimmy was just a really interesting individual who exemplified a lot of these just incredible strengths of empathy, resiliency, loyalty, and humility. And George Corrigan, 5 years ago, bestowed upon me the Jimmy medal, and we decided after that year that I wanted to pay it forward to a lacrosse individual in the community every year at the festival. So this year we gave it to Matt Van Kirk, who played at St. Joe's Prep. And St. Joe's Prep suffered a really terrible loss this week with one of their students passing, and it was just a really perfect opportunity to put some light on St. Joe's and such an incredible program. And Andy German's doing a great job his first year as head coach there, and it was just a wonderful celebration of Matt and what he's been able to do to overcome just a terrible car accident he suffered last year.
And this is the 15th year that you've had the festival. How has it grown, and how did it start?
Oh man, it started while I was actually in the hospital recovering from a spinal cord injury, and just a lot of the lacrosse community, my family, friends sort of really recognized that there was kind of an emergency need there because there's so many expenses that people endure with spinal cord injury. And so the first year was just sort of let's raise some money for Katie and her family. And then it just kind of kept growing, and we joined girls, and then we got Hershey involved, and yeah.
Like lacrosse players can. A good thing turns into a great thing, and then they try to make it a tradition, and you guys certainly have. Congratulations on doing such a great job, and I know you have so many people who help you make this day special.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, and everybody here is volunteer, and even the volunteers pay admission to come, so they really feel passionate about it. And we're just so proud. All of these lacrosse teams that are here today fundraise to be here. So they're doing their part to support the foundation. And I mean, that is an incredible spirit that they can take with them forever, which is super awesome.
And we've got college coaches who are here. We've got recruiting coordinators who are here. Booker Corrigan honored to be alongside Katie Sampson here from Radnor High School. Thanks so much for being a part of it.
Thanks, Booker. Great to see you.
Always. Second half set to go here at the Katie Sampson Festival. I want to thank our title sponsor, helphopelive.org, Radnor High School. Second half underway here at Radnor High School. Radnor in their home whites, Hill Academy in their road blacks. Booker Corrigan, Matt Marshall bringing the call. I want to thank our title sponsor, helphopelive.org. Second half brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited. Always custom since 1990.
Booker,
Radnor
what a
trailing
great
7-2.
day! What a great day, wouldn't you say? The whole atmosphere, the whole
Without question.
purpose.
And great to get a chance to talk with Katie Sampson,
Yes.
for whom this festival is named. The Spinal Cord Injury Research and Life Improvement. The advancements they've made and the dedication of the folks involved with this tournament, just tremendous.
Tremendous. The whole family, her mother Lynn and her father Peter, who we haven't even mentioned today, but he's a pillar stone of the Radnor Youth Lacrosse program, and has really added to the talent level in the youth in the high school programs.
Flag flies, ball on the turf, and it's going to be Hill Academy on the man up. So far, star of the game, number 66, Kyle Marr.
So Booker, take us down memory lane. We mentioned Big George Corrigan. He was our coach as younger kids. But
Oh, yeah.
well, give me some of your favorite memories from the old Radnor rink days, if you could.
I tell you what, the guy could fix a cup of coffee and be in the car in 23 seconds.
Yes.
I don't know how he did it. And that would be it until about noon.
Yep.
He lived on a cup of freeze-dried Sanka.
Yeah, and I remember fondly brother George Jr., GT as they called him back in those days, playing some good offense.
Oh yeah.
Always had the curve on that stick.
We used to curve the sticks ourselves. My mom would crucify us because we'd end up wrecking the stove for a little while.
Yeah.
Get all filthy.
Yeah. Just a great family there. That's Hal Marshall over the midfield
Great
line.
ground ball.
Yeah. All right, the Raiders got a little bit of, pep in their step here, Book. What do you think?
And now a triple team. Unfortunate turn of events for Jack Norton. Ball goes on the turf. And coming away with it is Hill Academy as they look to push it down the field. And this is Jeff Teat. Teat gets it down to Kyle Marr. We have confirmed that 66 is Kyle Marr.
Kyle Marr. Ooh.
Shot just over the cage. And I'll tell you, some of those kids behind that net want to watch out right now because these guys from Hill can bring, guys from Radnor too.
Yes.
I mean, these high school kids today can bring heat, straight heat.
They can.
And it's a bit of a ward. I think it's definitely a ward.
No goal.
That was a ward.
Yeah.
And
good call.
I tell you what, Maddie, you can vouch for me. Have you ever heard me say that's a ward? Because that was a ward.
Yeah.
And I don't say it often. Oh. Kyle Marr with the interception. And that is going to be Radnor ball.
Wow.
And your buddy Hal Marshall almost got in a little trouble there for hitting a guy away from the ball.
I saw that.
It wasn't going to be a penalty, but it could have been a possession.
Well.
And Radnor needs a possession. They get a piece by piece right now if they want to close down this 5-goal deficit right now to Hill Academy.
This Radnor defense is going to have to clean up their act. They're going to have to get these clears just like Mike Farnish just demonstrated right there. We're going to stay in this game. But here's Jack Wilson. You know all about this guy, don't you, Booker?
Jack Wilson, a star for the Raiders, did a great job in the first half.
Yeah.
And now they get it behind a Hall.
Going to play for the Terps. Oh. Yes.
Shot, goal. And credit that goal to Drew Ryan.
Drew Ryan. Penn State bound.
Soon to be Nittany Lion. And now 7-3. Second half brought to you by your friends at Lacrosse Unlimited. But I want to remind you, helphopelive.org. Make a donation today because it means so much to the lives of victims and their caregivers of serious illness, or if they're in need of a transplant or affected by a catastrophic injury. Every year, Help Hope Live does such an amazing job helping families.
You mentioned Drew Ryan going to Penn State. There were a bunch of our classmates, teammates who went to Penn State. Some of them really had some nice success up there in the classroom. Anthony Lopezona, Tim Connor, Bill Denny.
Love Billy Denny. Billy Denny's got a stepson who's playing ball at Penn.
He does, yeah.
Penn Quaker.
Yep.
Anthony Lopezona,
Yep.
a consensus all-star on the football field. He was the outstanding linebacker back in the day and, of course, played some pretty decent lacrosse defense.
He did. He was out there, if I recall, with the Pat Prendergast, Dom Demitis, that trio.
That was a defense, and Mike Chesak.
Mike Chesak, absolutely.
And then the shifty little mini John Chesak.
Otherwise known as the Sweat Sock Brothers. Yeah.
John Sweatsock.
I told you I'd be taking you down memory lane, Book. What other fond memories do you have?
I love the Tim Connor memory. I saw Conestoga playing a big game over there on the George Corrigan field, they're calling it today.
They are today, absolutely.
That is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Stoga winning one in overtime. I remember a time when Tim Connor. Oh, here we go.
Clayton Proctor, nice goal, Booker.
Nice finish by
Number
Clayton
19.
Proctor, the little sophomore.
Yes. I'll tell you, you saw some stick work there. His father was a All-American squash player from Penn. Yes, David Proctor.
Another fellow Ivy Leaguer.
Yes,
Matt,
absolutely.
of course.
Yeah.
Matt Marshall here in the booth with me. He went to Penn Quaker. I played hockey at Penn back
You did,
in the
Booker.
day.
You did.
We love to talk about my Ivy League days. I've always lived life very much like an Ivy Leaguer.
You
a lot
have,
of people
Booker.
think country club, a lot of chutney in my
Chutney,
diet. A lot of
absolutely.
chutney in my diet.
I heard Matty Cruz said you were sporting an ascot at the
Yeah,
other
and a
day.
monocle. Yeah, he's right. He's right. Yeah, I was over at BL with my ascot and monocle on.
They used to call Baltimore the hotbed of high school lacrosse. What's happening, Booker? Give us a little sense
Tell
of
you
what's
what,
going on.
it's
in these
exploded
guys.
all over the country.
Yeah.
And case in point being Tewaaraton winner from Colgate, Peter Baum from Oregon.
Oregon of all
He
places.
was voted the
Yeah.
best college lacrosse player in the country out of Oregon. And I
Yeah.
don't no disrespect to Oregon. I coached against the Black Rhinos who are from there. They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a fluke that he came out of Oregon. He's just a great coach.
Ooh. That's a,
Shot just wide. I know the East Portland Lacrosse Club, they got a young coach out of University of Delaware, Scott McMullen, who's been helping them out.
what
East
other
Portland.
cities? Are we seeing some lacrosse coming out of Dallas?
Dallas.
Dallas,
Huge.
Texas. Yeah.
Huge. St. Mark's.
That Raider defense is looking like it's getting it done for some reason this quarter. What? No, maybe
As
too
you
soon.
say that, yeah, the broadcaster's jinx in full effect. Number 36 with the goal, Campbell Parker. One of the guys you talked about in the open.
I did.
Campbell Parker's done a nice job. We got a flag flying late. It's like it's Bastille Day all of a sudden as we see Kyle Marr back onto the field. Look at a
2-5
slash. You put the full jinx on him right there, Matt. You
I
tell me
know.
how clean and hard they're playing. They give up a goal on the crease and get the foul.
Look, that's just my luck. I've
Yeah.
been doing this. I think this is the third of 4 years
Yep.
with you up in the broadcast booth, and every year I get one of
Yep.
those out.
And if I remember correctly, it was the year that was a little bit cold and rainy that
Yeah.
you had something else you had to do.
That's right.
You were rehanging your curtains. I think it was Maddie. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were redoing your shoelaces so that it went left over right, not right over left. Because that, when it's 38 and drizzling, that's the oh, what a great pass!
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, rewind and put in your new man up play.
Yes.
And all it takes is the example there, Matt, is nobody cradled the ball.
Right.
Catch, pass, catch, pass, catch, pass. And that adds up to open shot.
Well, that's what you get when you play the Hill Academy. I
Yeah.
think these guys are all they say they are. They're really focused on these athletic programs up in Canada, and I know both the lacrosse and the hockey programs are outstanding
Yep.
at the Hill Academy.
Nice face-off win for Radnor. 9-4 your score now here, third quarter. Second half of the game brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited, but I want to thank my friends at Help Hope Live. Lacrosse Unlimited, always custom since 1990. Great acceleration, shot, goal, ring it up top. Drew Ryan.
Nittany Lion. Let's talk about the Great American Pub. Look, we always come to the halftime, and I'm always starting to think about the pub. What is it? Last year it was at the Cougars, and
Yeah, last year was the Cougars.
Cougars.
I tell you what, the scenery at the pub's nothing to shake a stick at either.
Not at all.
Tremendous
Not at all.
scenery there.
I've noticed a lot of your fan club hangs out
Yeah.
at the
And
pub.
the Hampshire family does
Yeah.
such a nice job making you feel well. You got Coach Carr behind the bar.
Joe Carr, what a stalwart of the
great
Radnor
American.
community. Absolutely.
He's a fine citizen.
Good football coach
That's going to
too.
be a push. Yeah, the Great American Pub, they do a nice job helping you feel welcome
Sure do.
and introducing you around to some of the other patrons.
Yes. Now, will you have your radio show there after today's game?
We need to. We
Yeah.
need to get on the air from there.
Yeah. See Jack Wilson.
9-5 your score now as Jack Norton. Now this is Ryan.
I think Coach Beezer and the coaching staff of the Raiders must have said some things in the locker room at halftime. This team looks like it's been reformulated.
Here's Wilson. Norton driving left-handed. And Radnor taking their time here. 9-5 your score. The Katie Sampson Festival. 15 years of tremendous support.
Oh,
Shot goal.
number 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Ryan's on fire.
He sure is, Booker.
If you want to defend him right now, bring a fire extinguisher.
So we talked about the years gone by. So I think I said when we started, it must have been 2011, 2012 when we first got you up in the booth here. And I think that's right around the time you were starting your ESPN.
It was.
It was. And Booker, I will tell you, the response to CUDA and to your broadcast here at the Katie Sansom Festival has been nothing short of tremendous.
Well, thank you.
And I have to give a shout out not only to you, but to Matt Cruz.
Matty.
And even Andrew up here, the film guy for the high school team.
Awesome to be a part of it.
Yeah, well,
and
thank you
it's for a
guys
great
for coming.
cause. It's for a great cause. I wouldn't miss it. Honored to be here.
Thanks for being here. And while passing out accolades, I'd like to give one to the sophomore class of Radnor High School, and for none other than my daughter, Alice Marshall. She's a big fan of yours, Booker.
Oh, I love to hear that. The Katie Sampson Festival, Alice Marshall, everybody getting some accolades today. We're at timeout. We'll be right back. And we are set to go. 9-6 your score. Riley Hutchcraft now in the cage, the junior for Hill Academy. In the cage, Hill Academy in their black tops. Radnor High School in their home whites. Thank you so much for joining us here on the helphopelive.org game of the week.
What a great organization.
Part of the Katie Sampson Festival.
Yep. And it's a homegrown one too, Book. Their base is here in Radnor, and it's just a great organization that provides a lot of hope for the families that are afflicted by injuries and those types of things.
Teat drops it down. Coming out shooting. Anderson
Nice
fights
save.
it off. Shot by Andrew Q. And here's Kyle Marr resetting the offense.
You know, we mentioned all the 5 seniors who are going to play lacrosse in college. Alex Anderson, who's our goalie, is going to play football at the University of Pennsylvania. And there he makes a nice save.
And a quick clearing pass. And the Raiders are in transition right now.
Ooh.
Ball's not going to make it to the end line. It's still a shot. Still a shot. I don't know that he affected the impetus of the sphere.
What's the rule there, Booker? How do you call?
Player who's going to play the ball, if it's still a shot, it still has momentum and would have gone out of bounds on its own, and now the referee corrects it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to... But if the guy who still hits it out of bounds and it would have gone out anyway,
yes,
you still have to be closest when it goes out. So it's still the same rules as a shot.
I understand. We used to have to run a few of those out ourselves, bro.
Yeah,
remember?
back in the day.
Back in the day.
For those unknowing, Matt and I ran on the same attack line for a couple years.
That was under Coach Chubb Connor's tutelage.
I don't know that that's the most accurate sentence you've ever said.
Put together?
Yeah.
How about Coach Lynch? Remember Coach Lynch?
Eddie Lynch.
Yeah.
It was a different, that's all I can tell you is with different time.
Those were different times, yeah.
Speaking of Conshohocken.
Yes. Villanova grad, if I recall.
I don't know if he was a grad.
Using that term loosely.
Yeah. A Villanova student.
Yes.
Spent time at Villanova. He may have spent time other places.
I'm sure he did.
I think instead of spend, they call that serving.
That's right. That was back in the day when the Radnor lacrosse coaching staff was a mere 2 people.
Yeah.
With George Senior coming in, over the top every once in a while just to see what was going on. But
shot, goal, great shot outside. And that's going to stretch the lead to 10-6 now. Radnor had closed the gap. Second half brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited, always custom since 1990. Get to Ardmore or Paoli. Tremendous place to get lacrosse equipment and apparel. Lacrosse Unlimited.
So just to make the comparison till today, when we talked about those early days in the Radnor lacrosse program, there were only 2 coaches. Today I count 5 on the sidelines with Coach Ryan, who's our football coach there for support. So just great
And
with this
Coach
program.
Buzza,
Absolutely.
not here, but
not here.
Sign of the times.
Sign of the times, and it really shows you what the boys get in terms of support. And
imagine the options we would have had on Friday nights if we had this. Oh, what a great drive to the cage. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Ryan, the future Nittany Lion.
is that number 4 or 5? I'm
Taking
losing
the-
count.
Taking the bull by the horns. That's how he handles his business.
I want to say something about Drew. Drew has had an amazing year. He's really been a big contributor to the Raiders' success this year, and there couldn't be a nicer guy. He was just recently committed by Penn State, and he was actually seen at the boys Latin game 3 weeks ago, and that's where he got the pickup. His senior year. Very unusual.
And
isn't
I
it,
know
Booker?
Coach Bob Shriver from Boys Latin was telling me he had his son David Shriver, coaches at Boys Latin, helped connect some of the dots.
That's the connection. It's really, really encouraging to hear that kind of story.
Bob Shriver, one of the great characters. And I say character, people think it's one of the great people in the game of lacrosse. He certainly has affected so many lives in such a positive way.
I hope some of the younger guys hear that story and they just keep playing as hard as they can, because Drew really had it pay off his senior year, and those stories do come true. Dario Falcone's really been a good...
Almost had a chance at that ground ball.
Yeah. He's been good at turning the tide on defense today. We need a little bit more turnover here. We need some more possession time for the Raiders.
1 minute left in the quarter now. Marr looking to feed, comes out, does so successfully, picks up another assist. I tell you, Kyle Marr's creeping into being the Under Armour underclass tryout player of the game. Guy with great vision, and he can certainly sling it when he needs to.
Absolutely.
Goal, Hill Academy.
Hill Academy.
Andrew Q. And assist
Q with the goal.
Kyle Marr.
Kyle Marr with the assist. Q with the goal.
45 seconds remaining here in the quarter.
Referee Jimmy Conway steps in as they drive down. Radnor now trails 11-7. Wilson, the old scoop fake, steps on it. And a timeout with 30 seconds left in the quarter. We'll take one as well. Coming out of the timeout, 27 seconds left in the quarter. Radnor down by 4, but they've crawled, they've crept, they've snuck back in it because they creep through the smog and they slip through the fog because they Snoop Doggy.
That's eloquent.
Do you like that, don't you?
Yeah.
I might drop that on a goal, let Matty Cruz clip it.
Did you learn that one here at Radnor High School?
I
back
did.
in
Oh my goodness, no, what did I just see? Creep through the fog and a sneak through the smog. Snoop Doggy. Dog. Jack Norton.
Wow, that was a good one, Booker.
Yeah, I think I saw it coming. I don't know what Coach Beige called it. I think that's Norton sting the corner. Let's run the old Norton sting the corner play. Wow. I think I was doing a Virginia Tech basketball game. There's 2 seconds left in the quarter, so we're good. Doing a Virginia Tech basketball game. At the end of the half, there's 6 seconds left. They call a timeout, and they run a play. They go down, they get a layup with 2 seconds left. And my comment was, why don't they run that play every time?
That's right.
2 years later, that coach got fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you should have just run that inbounds play you did. He's scoring 4 seconds. What's wrong with that? That's the end of the third quarter. We're back for the fourth. Fourth quarter set to go here at Radnor High School, part of the Katie Sampson Festival. An amazing 15 years of celebration and dedication to helping everybody involved with the cause of spinal cord injuries. And of course, I want to thank our title sponsor, helphopelive.org. Make a donation today. If you like what you're seeing, it was made possible by helphopelive.org. Booker Corrigan and Matt Marshall up here in the booth. Radnor in their home whites, Hill Academy in their road blacks. They lead 11-8, start of the fourth.
I'll tell you, Booker, this is just an exciting game. I have not seen many of the fans move since that last quarter, and I think in large part due to Drew Ryan and his scoring prowess.
No doubt. Hal Marshall harassing the shooter as he lets it go, and Hill Academy gets the backup. I got to give a quick shout out. Peter Sampson, I haven't seen him sit down yet either. All he does is back up goals and restock balls. I think he filled a couple of water jugs, checked the tire pressure in the gator down there. I think he's good.
He's really been
dedicated to the cause.
Incredible, really incredible contributor to not only this event, but just to lacrosse in general in Radnor.
The Radnor youth, I think he's found the fountain of youth.
He absolutely has. You know, like your father, Big George, who got the Friends of Radnor Award of Merit, Peter Sansom has one of those in his closet too.
A couple guys who just want to give back to a great game.
Absolutely. And I think they get as much out of it, Booker. I think they really they get as much enjoyment out of it as the boys. I know your dad did.
Hill going with a little flip offense. I like St. Paul's has been running that this year.
What do you think about this Radnor, this defense? Are they as tight as they need to be against this Hill Academy team?
They have been. I tell you what, this Hill Academy offense is skilled to say the least. And now we're at the 10-minute mark. Referees put a stall warning on. Clark Peterson shares it up top, and that's Fox. This is Marr. Marr gets inside position. Anderson comes up big with the save. Crease violation, Radnor possession. 9:26 remaining here in the quarter.
Alex Anderson just had a great save there, by the way. He's been one of those unspoken heroes for Radnor this year, but really has done a great job.
And you see getting some action, Alex Hino. Hino doing a great job.
Yeah, I see Kyler Anderson ready to go in. Ooh.
Shot that time by Drew Ryan, high to high, and goaltender Hutchcraft able to fight it off. Marr with the finish, and I'll tell you, he has poise around the crease. Kyle Marr puts him up 12-8.
He sure does.
8:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. Second half of today's game brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited, always custom since 1990. Lacrosse Unlimited, amazing store out of Paoli. I've been out there. They could not be nicer to you when you're in the store. The Ardmore store, fantastic. Lacrosse Unlimited, a fantastic resource for lacrosse players. Equipment, apparel, and some swag.
Noticed there's been a lot of stiff competition at that face-off dot.
And Hill Academy guilty of kicking the stick. And Tommy Myers, the wrestler, the little grappler.
All-time leading wrestler at Radnor High School, by the way. Just won.
What, point getter?
More matches, consecutive matches in the 100.
But if the
plus
Corcorans wrestled as one person, if the 14 Corcoran boys wrestled as one person, they would have equaled his total. Not surpassed it, but equaled it.
That would be the case.
Jimmy, Bobby, Billy.
Yes.
There's some other Corcorans I'm missing.
Still living in the Radnor area.
Yeah.
There's a few of the old timers still living here, Booker.
Jimmy Corcoran's a nice little golfer.
Absolutely.
And I was in class with Cece Corcoran.
Yeah.
She was in our grade.
Yes, she
With
was.
Jimmy. And Bobby Corcoran was above us. And Mike Corcoran? There was one below us.
I don't know. It seemed
Joey
like
Corcoran.
Joey Corcoran.
Yep.
Yeah.
All wrestlers.
Yes.
Imagine when the brouhaha broke out at their place.
There's that Jack Norton again, making some moves and getting ready to score.
Wilson driving in. Westy McLaughlin now up top, back to Wilson. Wilson driving in, shot, goal.
That's why he's going to play at Maryland.
Yeah.
Booker.
Jack Wilson leaning in, making something happen.
Radnor, number 1, Jack Wilson.
12-9 now the
the
score.
gap.
Yeah.
Closing the gap here,
Radnor
Booker.
9, Kyle Marr 12.
Well, talk about these close games, because you and Maddie Cruz just, you just witnessed the Radnor girls come back.
Overtime.
Yeah, overtime win, right?
Great game.
I think that's really what makes this festival so exciting. These games always seem to be close to the bitter end.
And even last year's game, I'd love to watch the Cougars right down to the bitter end.
I know. I got you. I got you on that one, Booker. Got that right. Ooh, what a move.
Hill Academy's done some work at the faceoff dot when they have to.
Usually think about these Canadians, playing a good game of lacrosse, but I'll tell you, these guys really are turning it on here.
Oh yeah, they can make things happen. And like my man Tommy Marichek likes to say, they don't mind a little backhander. The Americans call it the behind the back. They just call it a backhander.
The backhander, yeah. There's your man, Hal Marshall. Nice.
Oh, Hal Marshall, strip delicious. Flags fly everywhere. It's Bastille Day. Not sure that was a foul, but hey, if Jimmy Conway, Big Paulie Cicero, and Henry Hill say it's a foul, it's a foul.
What were they calling there, Booker? I'm not sure I even followed that, because it looked like a clean strip, and
Clean strip, but they called it something on the backside. Don't know, like 34 with a cross check.
cross check. That'll do it.
Yes, what he said. Look at Jimmy Conway. Funny how? Funny how? Like I'm a clown? I amuse you?
Now, what is that? Is that a 30-second or a minute?
That's a minute. That's a minute foul.
Non-releasable?
6:29. No, it's releasable.
It is.
Just your regular cross check.
Coach Beezer is going to be thinking about that one later this evening.
Jimmy Conway and Tommy and Henry Hill making him like he's Billy Bats.
Yeah.
Billy Bats is a made guy. Marr, inside pass.
Ooh.
Ball goes to the ground, and Radnor has a chance
Dario
at the loose
Falcone.
ball. Falcone comes up with it. A tidy little face dodge, pushes up the middle of the field.
That's Clayton Proctor, number 19, Booker.
Oh, Rusty Gate. Love that.
Clayton's
Clayton
just
Proctor. Coach Beezer's going to take a timeout. And we get a timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. Halfway through the fourth quarter. Second half brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited. Great, great organization. Lacrosse Unlimited doing so much to help get you in the right equipment as Wilson runs for his life. Penalty's released. Wilson does not see the man come in behind him, Phil Regan, and now Regan gets it. 5:20 remaining fourth. And they're going to call that a moving pick. I'm not sure they made contact with anybody, but referee Big Paulie Cicero thinks they did it. Big Paulie's got a way of shaving the garlic so thin that it will actually melt in the pan.
What about Carmen John Domenico?
Carmen John Domenico retired this year. He comes back for special games down in the Baltimore area. He's also been known in ESPN games. He runs the clock. He's done the clock in some college basketball games that I've been fortunate enough to do.
That's
And
great.
you, of course, know Carmen John Domenico.
I do.
Archbishop Carroll hockey star.
Yes, I do.
He was. I will never forget Carmen John Domenico.
There's another another name from the past we're hearing that might be on the ref circuit. $1 Bill Brazier.
And the great John Brazier.
Yes.
My kids love the great John Brazier because they know he's the link to a lot of tickets.
Yes.
A lot of different kinds of tickets.
Yes.
Obviously, Phillies.
Yes. He's the global
Marr, nice
ticket.
pass.
Ooh.
Shot goal. Kyle Marr adding his assist total. And with the goal, number 15, Jake Fox, the senior midfielder. Foxy.
Well, let's talk about strength of schedule, because Coach Beezer has really put these guys through the ringer. Now, I guess you've coached enough, Booker, to know you can take these guys and take them to a team like a Hill Academy or a Boys Latin, and they're at a different league, right?
Yep.
We are a Central League team from suburban Philadelphia, certainly a quality program, but they're just playing at a higher level today. Give me your thoughts about that.
I think it's a great experience for the kids to play in a game like this. I mean, obviously, on this occasion, you want to win every game you play, and you want to try and give your kids some games where they're confident they're going to win by a bunch. Today's not going to be that day for the Raiders. They can still come back, obviously, but we've seen them in the past on this day, take on a team that's not as talented as Hill. But as far as Coach Beezer's scheduling up, that tells me that he respects the level of competitiveness in his men. And these guys are going to, digest today's event and learn from it and make sure that they do the best with it.
Now, they're about 30 days away from the playoffs here in the PIAA. What do you think about strength of schedule in terms of going into the playoffs?
Huge.
Do you want to peak here? Do you want to get?
You don't want to peak now. You want to learn now.
You want to learn.
That's my philosophy, and I know Coach Beezer's been doing this long enough that he knows as well as anybody how to take the temperature of his team. And you have to schedule 9 to 12 months out. So he's already probably talking with Hill Academy about whether you're thinking about and processing, does he want to do this again?
So you're saying is what I'm hearing. It's about the cadence of the season. It's about the tempo, and how the boys perform here toward the end of their regular season.
And when you get them in the film room from this, you talk to them about what was going through their mind when they saw this, or when they did this, or when they how do they feel when they made that play, and how can they do it a little bit differently?
Yeah.
Or how can they do it the same way? I mean, they've had some success today as well.
Absolutely.
13-9 is by no means a landslide.
Well, we talk about these programs and they just roll off our tongue. The Boys Latin, the Hill Academy, but these are some of the premier programs in the country.
No doubt. Yeah, Boys Latin was the #1 team in the country last year. Obviously everybody graduates their seniors.
What else do you like about this Raider team, Booker?
I think they're unbelievably well coached, and I think they have a great spirit in them. Shot, Ryan, credit the save that time to Hutchcraft. Riley Hutchcraft's come in and done a nice job here in relief.
He really has.
But I like the Raider defense. I think the defense is fantastic. Hard to process that where they give up 13 goals to Hill Academy, but this is an awesome team.
Yes.
As we see Falcone giving some work to Kyle Marr. Kyle Marr, the Under Armour underclass tryout all-star of the game. I mean, he is just a fantastic player. And a timeout. Talk about that Under Armour tryout. If you want to measure yourself against the best players in your region, get to the Under Armour underclass tryout. And if you want to show your talents and skills to all of the college coaches in the area, get to that Under Armour underclass tryout. 2:16 remaining. Radnor's going to double team here. And Marr just makes the easy pass. I tell you, his Uncle Dave and his father Scott would have done the same exact thing. Why take on a double team when you can just make a 30-yard pass?
Absolutely.
And maintain possession.
That's just called emotional intelligence on the lacrosse field. That's a very high IQ.
Sometimes you just have to put your ego to the side and say, I don't need to challenge a double team.
Yeah.
I got more games to play sooner.
Well, while the seconds are ticking away, Booker, I just want to thank you for the last 4 years of coming and participating for Katie Sansom and for all the sponsors. It's been a pleasure being up here at the broadcast booth.
Always is fun to get back to the old Radnor High School, see some old friends, have a great time. And Radnor with possession, but they turn it over. And Kalmar doing exactly the right thing. I tell you, it's not hard to imagine he's a coach's son.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see some highlight film on that. He is he's
Taking a little lumber.
Yeah.
And now gives it up. Shot goal. Credit that one. Number 15 coming around and scoring. That is big Jake Fox. Foxy. 1:03 remaining now. Second half brought to you by Lacrosse Unlimited, always custom since 1990. Paoli store, fantastic people in there. Lacrosse Unlimited, and of course, Help Hope Live, a national nonprofit engaging communities in fundraising to help patients and families ease the financial burden of a medical crisis. By supporting our mission, you can make a difference in the lives of thousands of people who need a transplant or are affected by a catastrophic injury or illness every year. And another face-off win for Hill Academy. And it's going to be Radnor ball here with 53 seconds left.
Counting the seconds down for the Raiders, but it's been a good showing. I think they've really kind of put this in perspective. Hopefully they know this team was going to be a very tough competitor coming into the game.
And speaking of tough competition, you see getting to the Raiders a little bit in the timely checks. Hill Academy showing that tenacity.
Yeah.
It brings them the kind of success that they get year in, year out.
We'll have to give a lot of credit to that Hill Academy coaching staff and the program up in Canada. Very impressive.
20 seconds remaining. Radnor still double teaming. Now they drop off the double as Falcone, the lone pressure man. Hal Marshall over to Lend, and that'll do it. Wouldn't be surprised to see Kalmar just drop the ball on the ground and let it run out.
I think that's what we just looked at. That was it.
And that'll do it. We're going to quick interview with Kalmar after this.
Again,
But
thank
you so much to helphopelive.org. Make a contribution today. What a great day.